Good morning. It's phonics time, and you can see we're sitting in our normal phonics spot, and it's Monday morning. So let's start with our spelling words. We are going to look at these words on this page, and I want to remind you to read what we've printed there at the top. You first read the words. If you don't know how to read it, you can ask an adult, a mommy or daddy, and then you spell it out. Not necessarily writing it is our way of clapping it or breaking it up into blocks and try to see which part you recognize and then change it accordingly. And then you close the paper and you try to write it yourself, and then you go and check and see where did you make a mistake, because sometimes we look at words and then you think, um, I have no idea how to spell this, but when you sit and you really think about it and you pronounce it properly, it suddenly you realize, wait a minute, that part I know, and that part I know, I'm just not sure about the middle parts. And that's how you learn how to spell new words. So if you just go on copying them 10 times, it's really a nonsense action that you're actually doing and you're wasting your own time. Okay, so we are going to look at um, the suffix mint. Now remember, suffix mint, it sounds like an I, but it's an E. Suffix, remember, it's that part of the word that we add at the back of a word. And remember, the word can stand all by itself. It's got its own meaning. But as soon as we put the suffix behind it, I'm changing the meaning of the whole word. Okay, and the part that I start with from the beginning is called my root word or my base word. All right, and you will see all the base words that we're going, or the root words we're going to look at today, are all very familiar words once, and even the words that we're going to look at with the suffix mints are all very familiar. So if you know how to spell mint, you will get the meaning of the words, and it's easy to spell. Okay, the first one is something that adults are very used to. It's called statement. Now, if I close the part and I only look at state, is if I phone, for instance, the municipality and I ask them, how much do I owe for my water that I used this month? And they will state this is the amount. Okay, they will state, and they have to give me a statement with the amount that I owe them. So when you state something, that is the verb. You're saying something. And statement is the document stating how much you owe. So I received a statement from the municipality for my water that I used. That's the first one. The next one is, if I look at the root word, is a refresh. Now actually the root word is fresh. So fresh means it's not something that stood for a long time. It's made freshly. It's like you're squeezing out lemons. Refresh is when you're drinking this to make you, to refresh you, to revitalize you, to give you more energy. Okay, so when I'm making a lemonade, by using the lemons, I'm making a refreshment. So it's making me fresh. It refreshes me by giving me new energy and a new spark. And a refreshment is in something like a cool drink that you take. After all this hard work and talking, I will need a refreshment. Okay, next one is, if I say appoint, I appoint someone, it's pointing to something. If I disappoint means it isn't pleasant. Um, you disappoint me when you don't and you need work. We sometimes disappoint our parents when we don't obey their rules. Okay, that's the verb part. So if I say disappointment is, the marks on my math quiz was a real disappointment. Or when we planned to go to the beach for a nice day, a nice outing. The weather was terrible. It was just misty and wet, so that was quite a disappointment. That is also something that we sometimes encounter. Engage. When you engage with somebody, I'm busy to engage with you guys. It's like being involved with somebody. Now, you guys know the word engagement. It's when you get engaged before you get married to somebody. You are engaged, it means you are involved with a person. But I can be in an engagement with somebody in an appointment. We engage. You don't go to someone and having an appointment and just one of the two parties are doing the talking. So I engage with you guys, having a chat with you. Unfortunately, we don't engage really because you can't talk back, unfortunately for that. The next one is, if I develop something, is when I design something or I made something from nothing, um, or there's an open site and there's a contractor that wants to develop it and want to change it and build it into houses and not leave it as an open space. So they're going to develop that site. All right, and when it's done, there will be a new development. Or when you develop a new concept or an idea, you can also say there's a new development in this issue. We have new ideas on how we can improve it. So there's some new development going on. So it's not always buildings or architecture that's a development. It can be an idea and then someone adds something more to the idea and that grows into a new development. The next one is place. I can say Walvis Bay is a place, or the place I'm sitting at the moment is in the front of our phonics board. But if I talk about place as a verb, is I place my book on a certain spot, or they place somebody in a certain house. Um, say, for instance, you come from South Africa, and in the moment with this COVID-19, you have to go into quarantine, and they place you in a lodge or somewhere so that you first get quarantined for 2 weeks. They are looking for placement, to place you somewhere. It can be temporarily, it can be permanently. We're looking for a placement. Or also, yes, let's stick to placement. I'm also almost getting to another word that we still have, so I'm jumping ahead of myself. When something amazes you, it's like, wow, that's so cool. Okay, you are amazed. It's like something wowed you. And you, sometimes they say your jaw drop, like, okay, you're so impressed with something, or it's so mind-boggling what your eyes saw. You say, I look at it with looking at something with amazement. Like when we go to the end of year, New Year's fireworks, we all look up into the sky with amazement. So when you are amazed, that's a verb, and amazement is now my noun by adding my suffix. Okay, we just did place. It can be a noun. What place do you like to visit the most? Where did you place your book? Now it's a verb. When I replace it means there's something wrong with the book. I took it away and I replace it with something else. And also when you, for instance, when we have one of the teachers getting sick, or they need to move to another town because their husband got a new job somewhere, then we need to replace the teacher, and then we say we're looking for a replacement, for instance. Okay, so it's almost like placement, but replace is we have to, almost like we did with pronouns, we replace it. We take out something and we put something else in its place. Then we have punish. When you punish somebody, I hope you guys don't get to be punished. When you punish somebody is when you they have to carry the consequences. That when mommy and daddy need to go to work and they tell you what work you need to do, schoolwork while they at work, and they come back and you didn't do it, and they say now we need to punish you. And what will the punishment be? Punish is the verb and punishment is then my noun. Now on your list, there's one word missing from my little flashcards. I think it went on a little trip for its own. Entertain. When you entertain somebody, you do something that makes them happy or give them joy. So when you're planning your birthday party, you decide, okay, we want a jumping castle, or we want to do it at the pool, or we want to do it at the beach, or anything that we're going to do to entertain our guests. So whatever we are going to organize will then be the entertainment. So if you entertain your class, our class where some of you really can do very cool um, oral presentations, and then you entertain us. So you are giving us entertainment. So remember what I said, if you take the ment suffix out of your words, you just need to focus on the root word. And many of you will realize, but wait a minute, I can't spell that root word. It's familiar. So focus on the root word. Make sure you can get the spelling, and then add mint at the end. And remember, it sounds like mint, the sweeties that we eat to have a nice fresh breath, but it's mint. You also get endearments that they spell with an E. So that's also a suffix. Just remember a word like cement that they use to build buildings. That is not the suffix ment. Because if I look at the word cement, and I take away the suffix ment, se can't be a word by itself. So in that case, cement in itself is its own word, and it's not the suffix ment. So just be careful when you're looking at these words. And guys, you're really doing great. Remember that when somebody's asking you the words on the spelling quiz, mommies and daddies specifically, don't ask them it's in the order, because sometimes they memorize it that way. Ask it randomly, and just for interest's sake, ask them to give you the word in a sentence, just to make sure they understand the meaning as well, because otherwise we again training monkeys, and you guys are certainly not monkeys. Okay, monkeys, have a nice day, and we will chat again.